So it gives me great honor and pleasure to introduce our Senator Paul Feeney. Please give him a big round of applause. Welcome.
Thank you for leaving the mic up. Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
Who would have thought that it was 45 and rainy this weekend? Beautiful night to come out and celebrate Pride tonight in Mansfield. I want to thank the members of the Mansfield Democratic Town Committee who not only talk the talk but walk the walk in each and every way in this community. Deb, and to your team, to all of you that put this together, thank you so much for doing what you're doing, not only here for this event, but in our community every single day. It truly does make a difference. To our local officials, Frank, Jess, thank you for the work that you do. To our town manager, Kevin Dumas, if I could just, and take a moment of personal privilege and ask for another big round of applause for these individuals and gentlemen. They had a heck of a year here in Mansfield. Trying to run town government in the midst of a pandemic, it's one thing to legislate, and we were able to do it remotely, but to be able to serve the constituents of this community took a really difficult effort by so many, and Kevin and his team here at Town Hall deserve all the praise, as well as the members of the Select Board. To my colleagues in government, Representative Phillips, powerful testimony based on your experience, and Representative Scanlon, it's great to be up here with you, and let me tell you, brother, as difficult as it may have been early on, you are right where you should be. So welcome, and we're glad to have you representing us in the House. As we begin to celebrate Pride Month across the globe, we will once again have a symbol so simple in its presentation, but one steeped in struggle and a fight for justice and equality right here in Mansfield. The Pride flag that flies over our town hall is a reminder to us of a sobering history, but even more so, it's a symbol of a hopeful future. That history that we reflect on may seem abstract to some and may be diluted through generations, but for others, it's a path of pain and a trail of tears. We think this month of the Stonewall Uprising and what it meant as a catalyst to a movement that began to break down walls of segregation, erected not to keep people out, but to hold people in. Walls not built in the name of prejudice of skin color or nationality or religion, but walls nonetheless to separate us versus them. Though this barrier was not a physical manifestation that you could touch or see, it existed everywhere. In our government, in our neighborhoods, in our places of employment, in our religious institutions, on our streets, and even in our own homes. History tells us that whenever oppression reaches a tipping point, there will most certainly be a reckoning. Greenwich Village in 1969 became the birthplace of a reclamation for members of the LGBTQ plus community from New York to California and every neighborhood in between. A call for justice became a fight for equality. The struggle for fairness became a demand for rights. And in a land in which civil rights for people of color and a movement of equality for women in our country was raging, our gay and lesbian neighbors had to organize and mobilize just to be treated as human beings. In that history, we hear the words of Dr. King standing on the mountaintop, the prose of Eleanor Roosevelt lifting up the voices of women, and the collective chants of millions marching in our cities and searching for the hope long since buried under each of those walls that was the promise of our democracy. As you picture those struggles in your mind's eye for just a moment, and as you hear those voices and feel that fire, that coming together of a people united, consider the words of Harvey Milk, the first openly gay elected official in the state of California, who stated that, quote, "It takes no compromise to give people their rights. It takes no money to respect the individual. It takes no survey to remove repressions." Simply stated, but incredibly poignant, members of the LGBTQ plus community, just like women and our black and brown brothers and sisters don't mobilize to take anything away from anyone else. As Harvey Milk said, there is no cost. There is no compromise. The struggle back then and today continues to be about dignity, respect, humanism, fairness, and not just equality, but true equity. As a society, we have come so far, but our collective journey does not end with the raising of a flag, the decision of a court, or even the signing of a bill. Our path toward equity is guided by our own hearts and paved by our own individual actions. In this day and age, as divisiveness seems to permeate our culture and political discussions drive wedges between us, it is up to us to look inward and to reach outward, to take a moral inventory of our own hearts and minds and consider our own experiences and prejudices, to open our hearts and minds to the experiences of others, and to act. Even in small ways, our own individual actions of love and acceptance will bring together seemingly insignificant moments that lead to a movement. Think about that for a moment. In this time of turmoil and divisiveness, separation and cynicism, we have the power, each of us, to bring together our communities in solidarity with each other. That is what the Pride flag represents. It is your commitment. It is our commitment as a community that we not only see you, we not only hear you, but we are with you. We are you. We are sending a message that whether you yourself are a member of the LGBTQ plus community or an ally, that we walk together and we fight for justice and equality with each other and for each other. What a powerful, powerful message that is. That no matter our background, our faith, our politics, our color, what we do for work, where we are from, and yes, how we identify and who we love, that we are a proud community who understands that love is love is love is love. And through that lens, we will see that we have not yet reached our destination and our journey continues. As allies on this march together, we must hold each other accountable and realize that it is not enough to just say that I'm not homophobic and I don't engage in speech or actions or engage in hate or violence. We are called upon to stand up and speak out whenever we see it, whether it's in our own community or even in our own households. For those that need to hear these words right now, I'm on your side. As allies on this march together, we must hold our elected officials accountable and ensure that our healthcare system is built on equity and not one that discriminates against people because of who they love and how they identify. For those that need to hear these words right now, I'm on your side. As allies on this march together, we must work towards systemic changes that make it just as easy for an LGBTQ couple to start their family and raise their children as it would be for me. For those that need to hear these words, I'm on your side. As allies on this march together, we must lift up and protect those in the trans community that feel the pain of stereotypes and the fear of violence. For those that need to hear these words right now, I'm on your side. As allies on this march together, we must listen for loved ones that may feel trepidation, tension, nervousness, confusion, or anxiety over speaking their own truth. They need to know that they are loved and treasured beyond measure. For those that need to hear these words right now, I'm on your side. We have the power to lift each other up, to give each other hope by embracing the spirit of the words our framers gave us: liberty, justice, and the pursuit of happiness, not just for some, but for all. So we lift up our collective voices this evening to proclaim loudly that all means all and that love is love. From the Stonewall Inn to the streets of Mansfield, as our country and our communities collectively wake up with an eye toward justice, as we confront our own biases, there has been no greater act of solidarity than to tell your neighbors, I'm on your side. And that is what we are doing today, brothers and sisters, lifting each other up, showing reverence toward a history of struggle and participating in a future of hope. For those that are frustrated with injustice, tired of fighting for equal rights, worried for their safety, questioning themselves, worried about reactions, or wondering what the future holds, I'm on your side. Happy Pride, Mansfield. Thank you so much.